Yesterday's session was loads of information, and it was a real intense session, which was what we're looking for. We just had a chat before we went out to training in terms of intentions moving forward, how we want to go and work and how we want to go and do things, and then it was just a case of going in the training field, and it was good. It was enjoyable, and there was a lot of hard work getting done, which was good. I think coming down from the stand was more a showing of togetherness. I'm very much, we're all in it together, and we'll back each other. And I didn't want to be a case of it's 2-0 and I'm taking absolutely nothing to do with me. That's not how I work. It's not what I'm about. I did obviously say to the lads that finish off the working week, enjoy it. You've given them the game plan. You've done everything. You've done great work throughout the week. Go and finish it off by enjoying the game. As I said to some press before, that I had it done to me and I really enjoyed it, and I was grateful for that experience, and I was grateful for the belief that the manager showed in me to let me go and continue that. I just wanted to go and show that as well and pass that on, because I know that I enjoyed it, so I would expect Boozy and everybody else to enjoy it. So I was doing that, but obviously when the second goal went in, I felt that it was a case of me being there, a little bit of solidarity, showing that there was no them and me sort of thing. It's nothing to do with me, and because it's everything to do with me. I didn't want to be seen as shirking responsibility or anything like that. I'd every trust in Boozy and Potsy and Jaws and what they were doing, but it was just a case of I'm a big believer of all in it together, shoulder to shoulder, and fight against it and all that sort of stuff. So that's what it was. If I could have given any more enthusiasm or encouragement or anything by me going on the touchline, then that was the case, and just to kind of be more solid for the rest of the game and try and get a goal or two. Well, there's a quick decision to be made, and I'm not scared to make those decisions. I have that belief, but it's just whether we can get things across the line. When you go and sign players, it's not just down to the club that's selling, or the club that's signing, or the manager that's signing. It's down to the club that's moving that player out. It's down to the player that's moving as well. He's got so many. He'll have options, I'm quite sure. So I've been there before in previous clubs, where you're sitting down with a player and you think everything's going through and medical's done, and then last minute he gets a phone call and he's away somewhere else. That happens in football. So until we actually get pen to paper and that ink dries, then I'll be delighted to announce that we've got someone. But we're actively trying very, very hard. There's loads of conversations going on, and hopefully we get one or two of them through. I think it would be a little bit unfair at this moment in time to say we're looking for certain positions, because we've got players here, and I think once it happens, once we know it's for sure, I'm happy with all the players that are here. There's nobody that I'm wanting out or anything like that. So I'm happy with the players that we've got. Do we need to strengthen? Do they need help? Of course. But we're going to try our hardest, and please don't think I'm palming you off with that. It's just that once we do have something that's a little bit more concrete than what it is just now, then we'll 100% I'll let you know. But we are looking to strengthen. We're looking to get the lads a little bit of help in that side. It's just that so much work needing done that I don't want to be turning and saying we're getting certain numbers in, and then it doesn't happen. It just turns into being a negative, and everybody gets disappointed. So we're trying our hardest at this moment in time, and we're trying to improve things. Well, I'm looking at what's going forward. I'm really looking at what we can do now going forward. Like I said before, I'm not looking for perfection, but I'm looking for progression. And I think it's just a case of it's the building process, and it's putting down the fundamentals and the foundations of going building something, which started yesterday on the training pitch. So if we can start implementing them, and then as time goes on, implementing more of it, and then you've then started to create a style and an identity, and it's an identity I'm looking to go and do at the football club. Look, I do get that football's all about results really, and people say it's a results-based business, but I do think I'm very much process-led. If you do the right things in the process, then more often than not you'll get the right result. And I wish it was as simple as that, but that's my belief through it all. There's nothing changed in that regard. They're all, I would probably say, a week closer to being back, but they're all in the distant. So it's one of those ones where you just leave the medical department to go and deal with it. keep in touch with them and speak to the lads, see how they are, so that they feel part of it. But once they start getting closer, it's probably the difficult time, because you then have to start putting the reins on them a little bit, because they feel being on the pitch, and they feel that grass, or whatever you want to call it, and they feel that, and they want to go that little bit quicker. So we're not at that stage. It's just a case now of just keeping them going, keeping them upbeat, keeping them positive, and they'll be back before they know it. He's getting fitter by the day. He is a big player. The experience that he's got is needed in the team. But certainly, if he's not playing, then we play a different way. But he's great about the dressing room. Just in the last couple of days, the chats that I've had with him and other lads, you can hear the influence he has in the dressing room, which is great. So he is getting fitter by the day, but we just need to see where he is over the next few days. That's what we need to see how we'll find out. We'll find out tomorrow whether he'll train on Friday morning, and then we'll have a discussion with the physio. He's done a bit of running. He's done a little bit. So it was one of those ones where at the start of the week, didn't really need to do too much. And then we finished off the game. So in that sense, it wasn't too bad. If it was bad, then he would have to come off.
Hello and welcome back to the OnlyAccies preview show. We're joined this week by David McFarlane. David, how are you doing, mate? You all right?
Aye, classmate.
Not bad. Good to have you on. Big hot Dave. Good to have you on, just to talk about obviously the game at the weekend and that. First off, I think it'd be quite good to get your thoughts quickly on Stuart Taylor as a manager. What did you make of his appointment?
I was buzzing when his name got mentioned at first. A lot of people weren't that sure, but I was one of the weirdos that followed his career down south. Probably my brother was more pro Stuart Taylor, because see the time that Brian Rice actually handed in his resignation, like 10 minutes later, my brother texted me saying Stuart Taylor straight away. So we were quite buzzing about it, because we knew he had a good career down south. And if you're working with teams at Aston Villa and that, you're good enough for Hampton Accies. That's the way I think it, anyway.
I think we would all agree. We were all very positive about it as well. And what have you made of what he's been saying so far in the press? It's all been very, very positive, but I suppose the one thing we can maybe pick out of it is very similar to what Brian Rice has been saying. But what have you made of it so far?
I think some of the stuff that's been said, I think something that Ryan Fulton said as well, and I don't know if another player said it as well, the training has been more intensive. And that makes me think, what were they doing before? Do you know what I mean? So obviously that's positive. I think he's not said much, if you know what I mean, in terms of what he's going to do. But I think he's just going to let the first few games see what he's going to do. I think we'll play a total different system. I think a lot of the players are saying now that the system's going to be a bit different than that. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does. And
just quickly before we move on, what did you make of his dugout entry against Kilmarnock? What did you make of that?
It was good to see, to be honest. Like the way he just jumped down and just getting about it. Do you know what I mean? It'd have been so easy just to sit in the stand and not take it. But as what he said, taking responsibility, that's what he done. So it was good.
Brandon, David, how are you guys this week? You doing all right?
Yeah, not bad. There's not really been much to talk about since the last game, if we're being honest. We're hoping there'd be a bit of transfer news. I don't want to mention the word transfer unless and then David might go on a fucking rant for fucking 5 hours. But no, I thought we'd have signed somebody by now. I mean, we've still got the Mora to bring someone in, and I've got a feeling we might do that. But there's not been really much to report. Even in these press conferences, he's not really said much different to what he said to his initial press conference and after the game. So there's not really much going on just now.
No, let's hope we get a striker in before Saturday. That's a big thing we're after. David, we're interested. You're our guest this week. What brought you to Hamilton? What made you support Accies? What was it that brought you to the club?
It was my dad. I'll never forgive him for it, to be honest with you. He started going to watch Hamilton when he was about 16. My granddad and that were all Rangers fans, and my dad started going to watch Hamilton with one of his mates with the Rolls Royce. He loved it. So he just brought us up as Accies fans, and my first season ticket was actually for Firhill when we didn't have a stadium. So it was you know what, everybody watching this podcast will know what it was like growing up an Accies fan. It was shit. It's hard. Especially being in the third division, especially in primary school, nobody had even heard of Hamilton when you talk about them, do you know what I mean? So
yeah, I remember I went to the Firhill days, and I mind in primary school, I'm from Coatbridge, so I'm surrounded by Celtic fans. And I remember in primary, like 2 or something, we had to bring in like a show and tell thing. my mum was like, "Why don't you put on your Accies top and talk about Accies?" And I put my Accies top on, walked up, and the first thing I got asked was why my Celtic top was red. So,
And what would you, obviously, that's the reason why you started supporting Accies. We'll talk about memories. What's been your best memory so far being an Accies fan growing up?
Obviously, the
Saying
easy
growing
cop
up as if you're not grown up, as if you're not an adult. But
the easiest one I've always says is a playoff final at Hibs, isn't it? But there's been so much more as well. Probably my first promotion was the third division one. I was probably a bit too young, but I went to Montrose. But I think the first time I could actually enjoy it and I knew what the fuck was going on was Forfar game. We were on promotion up at Forfar and the stand collapsed. And the game, I actually thought at one point the game was going to get abandoned.
we was talking about best. What about worst?
Stenhousemuir. Me, my dad, old guy, and Ian were on the back page of the paper the next day. The team never turned up. And we thought at that time Accies were finished. All the players went to Chris Hilcott's house to play darts instead of going to the game because we were on strike and had been paid. And basically, back in the days, it was just mostly the radio you listen to all your stuff on, and there was nothing else on the radio on the way back for Stenhousemuir. It was just like, this is the end of Hamilton Accies, that's it. We're not turning up for football games and stuff. And I was just about young enough to realise that, oh my God, this might actually be happening. That was probably the worst.
And funniest?
Do you any of you remember the goal that we scored against Forfar? And it was at home and it never actually went in.
It went by the post and the ball boy put it in or something?
It hit the backboard and went into the net and the ref thought it went in. That one. That's probably the funniest actually at the match. Nobody actually realised what was going on. In the 10-2 game, I was actually pissing myself that day. I couldn't believe it. Morton were actually lying down, weren't they?
Aye, do get me.
The funniest away game sort of banter stuff was probably what you mentioned there. That was ridiculous. Went back to a party in East Kilbride and Paul Daly cut up the lassie's curtains and opened all our Christmas presents.
And this was like, what was it, the 23rd of December or something?
Aye, Rob wore Santa suits not to the Dingwall, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
That was ridiculous, man. Really was. Ruined that lassie's Christmas, so I did.
Oh, brilliant.
So to look ahead to the game, you said there, David, that you expect a different style of play, expect something different. How do you see us lining up? Do you see any big changes being made? What can you see happening?
I'll see what I want us to do first, and I'll see what I do. What I want us to do is stop playing like we're fucking still in the Premier League and we're trying to play for fucking draw, playing 5 at the back. We need to decide who's playing the left-hand side. Mackie and McMahon don't know what they're doing. They need to decide what's happening with that. And we need to stop being so defensive. Go 4 at the back, go 2 up. Because we're a team that's come down for the Premier League and that was just totally lost the race. It was just like the mentality stayed the same. It was like, let's try and fight all the time when we don't need to. We should be beating teams and playing football. So I'd like Taylor to put that in straight away and just say, look, let's go and high press, let's go and play football. So I think he will do that. I think we might do away with the 5 at the back, the wing backs. I think we might do away with that.
Would you with Davie, Mac and McMahon then?
I don't know. I'd put. It's not the right option. I'm not a big fan of left backs playing right back, but I'd put one of them right back. I would just now to be sorted the right back situation, and then if McMahon stays, he stays. If he doesn't, he doesn't, and we'll just need to sort out what we're doing. But we can't continue with 2 left backs playing the same position. That's what it looks like.
It feels like we're not getting the best out of either of them now.
No, we're not at all. We're
Most
not at all.
effective left backs there was last season, and not getting the
both
best out of either.
Both of them look totally confused as well. Nobody knows. They don't know what they're doing, I don't think.
So, Brandon, what changes do you expect to see on Saturday, if any? He hasn't said anything in his press conferences about how he wants to play, the style of play he wants to implement. So, what changes would you like to see made to this Taylor team?
I mean, I think you can tell he's interview that Temps is going to be out the equation completely, so I don't think we'll see him on the bench. But I just want to see us a bit more on the front foot. Like David says, we're not in the Premier League anymore. We don't need to be the team that's set up defensively. We don't need to be the team that's on the back foot. We should be the team with the attacking type of players we've got. We should be the team that's on the front foot, going against teams. We shouldn't be the one that's in 3 games into the season without a win so far. So hopefully there's a more attacking mentality. But I can't see with the squad that we've currently got just now. I don't see the wholesale changes that he can sort of make to how we're set up. It's a hard one, and that's what he gets paid for, no me. So aye, just hopefully we're a bit more attacking. We set up on the front foot for the first whistle, and aye, we have a good go at it, and maybe we make more use out of Lewis Smith, because I don't think he's been anywhere near the levels of which I expected him to be so far, and I think himself and the rest of the squad would have.
One thing I can say, David Thompson, I'm interested in getting your opinion on this as well. One thing I'd like to see Taylor implement is kind of the kind of old school DNA of Hamilton, of a Hamilton Accies team, which is hardworking, in your face, tough to beat, which we haven't been for the last few years at least. That's something I'm really, really hoping Taylor can implement into this squad. What about you?
I was thinking about what I would be saying when you were asking, Brandon. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's only been it'll be 5 or 6 days. He's actually taking the team by the time this game comes. But even in the next few weeks, I was thinking about him coming down to the dugout on Saturday. Now, he said himself that he was going to leave day 2 to take the game. He'll take over on Monday. Now, this just might be my thought, but the reason he went down is they weren't even doing the basics, in his opinion, and he felt he had to intervene. So I would like to think that the basics that we weren't doing on Saturday is the kind of things that he'll be implementing, and there should be a difference. There should be a lot more tidiness. The offensive players should be a lot more offensive. I mean, not picking out individuals, but guys like Josh Mullen, and that didn't really do anything, didn't get the opportunity to do anything. Andy Ryan was feeding off scraps. When you're talking about the old identity of Hamilton, I would like to actually see us get the ball down and play it, because we've seen it in glimpses this season already. Was it the Albion Rovers game? Yeah. Where we weren't doing anything, and then there was one instance in the first half where there was a cracking passage of play, and it was the only time we had the ball on the deck, and then that was it, back to hoofing the ball again. So I think there's a lot of things. I mean, Taylor was a part of a good footballing team at Hamilton. So I think there'll be a lot of kind of neat and tidy things, your bread and butter stuff, that I think he will. And like Brandon said, it's not going to be a wholesale change personnel-wise, but I think you'll see a lot more for certain players. Guys that actually have technical ability, like the Jamie Hamiltons, your Lewis Smiths. I think they will get a lot more with better coaching.
I think he'll utilise what you're saying spot on, and I think he'll utilise Regan Mimno pretty well, if I'm being honest.
He's a kind of old school Hamilton kind of player. When Taylor was about, I remember this one thing. I used to do my fucking head in, man. Every game, my dad used to point this out. But see, back in the Stuart Taylor days where Alec Neil was playing in the middle of the park, every game during warm-up, now he wasn't actually part of the team. There's times where he wasn't even part of the squad, but he was still out warming up. It would be Alec Crawford and Alec Neil pinging balls to each other, and it would be about killing the ball dead and controlling it and returning the ball for distance. Stuff like that. Like, we've always had that kind of quality passing player in the middle of the park. So I think he will try to utilise Mimno. I think that's a brilliant shout. But I think we will start going to the old DNA in the way we were before, and having those kind of, that's your Brian Easton fullback kind of player, that's your kind of Alec Neil in the middle of the park kind of player. I think there will be a similar identity this time, well, I'm hoping. But like you say, he's part of a successful team, so why wouldn't he do that?
Davie, is there a certain player you're looking forward to seeing under Stuart Taylor, seeing if they can maybe offer something different, or maybe come into their own?
Well, the thing is with that, I don't want to try and crucify Taylor straight away, but see, Brian Easton, I think he'll play every game now. I'm not saying it's Stuart Taylor's old pal. I'm not trying to say we're doing the pals act for that, but I think he'll trust his stay up with him before. And I don't know if that'll be a place for Sean Wont there now, which is unfortunate if he plays him with Jamie Hamilton, because I'm a big fan of Sean Wont. But I think we'll see a lot more of Brian Easton starting every game under Taylor. A bit what Brandon touched on as well. I'm really disappointed the way Smith started this season. So I don't know. We really need a right back, and we really need a bit of shape. And we need to see how next couple of games we'll see how he's going to set up, and you'll see what players will be using, because there will be players we're not going to be seeing as much. It might not fit the system. So You could probably ask me that again in 2 weeks. I'll be able to tell you what players will be getting utilised better because we really don't know what system he's going to play.
Absolutely, we are going into this game a bit blind, but as kind of David said, he's had the team for less than a week, so I can't see there being many changes. Hopefully, though, we'll maybe see him experiment with a different style of play, and maybe we'll see a kind of change up information. Because I agree with Davie. Sorry, we cannot go into the rest of the season with 5 at the back. It doesn't work, and having the 2 left backs doesn't work either. Just before we go, we'll grab our score predictions as we do. Let us know yours in the comments or on our social media so you can be included in our league table. You get a prize at the end of the season. Going to be a good one. We don't know what it is yet, but it's going to be a good one. Brandon, we'll come to you first. Score prediction: Queen of the South versus Hamilton Accies.
Not got a single one right so far.
I don't think any of us have, to be fair.
3-1 Accies.
All right. David Thompson, what about you?
I'm going to go 3-0 Hamilton.
Thank God.
Aye.
Davie?
We're going to win because we don't win games at home, we win away. 2-0.
2-0, nice. I'm going to agree with Davie, actually. I'm going to say 2-0. 2-0 Accies. I do think we'll win. Brandon's shaking his head. Clean sheet, is that what's throwing you off?
5-0 Queen of the South.
Aye.
Oh, fuck, let's hope not.
I think we should get a Brian Rice comment for it.
Brian Rice, a quick Brian Rice impression, please.
Since you're on live, you need to get a Brian Rice impression.
What was that about again? Hold on. I'm fed up phoning Crawford Allen and getting pushed to the side because we're only fucking Hamilton.
Oh, brilliant.
I've watched that 1,000 times. It's never getting done.
It's good television, isn't it?
We're getting nothing.
We got nothing. I'm not shouting these lads. I'm angry.
Also, David, if we asked Kieran if he had a message for you, what's your message to Kieran McDonald?
I love you forever, mate. You know that.
Brilliant. There you go. Done. Dusted. But as always, like I said, let us know your score predictions in the comments or on our social media. Thank you again for watching. Davie, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. You're welcome back anytime, man. It's been a pleasure. And as always, we'll see you after the game.